First of all, giving you our thanks for the time we devote to our readers here at Gastronómica at San Sebastián. You've told about many opportunities for Spanish companies in your country, both in the food and the restaurant sectors. In the food sector, you've told about processing. You have needs in this segment, and those needs can bring in opportunities for Spanish companies, perhaps. You've told about some of them, but I've got a question related to the cooling sector. Is there any chance for a Spanish company in that segment, in processing and bringing food to the table of the people, and also to modern distribution or so on? So, which are, for example, opportunities in the cold sector, in the cooling sector, for companies not only in Spain but all over the world, now in India?
Indeed. Eva, thank you very much for this interview and for your interest in the food processing sector in India. As I explained, we are having India Food Summit, 3rd to 5th of November in New Delhi, which is being organized by the Government of India to attract the best companies from the world in the food sector, because we have needs and opportunities to build new partnerships in the food processing sector. You asked specifically regarding the issue of cold storage. There is a huge potential for cold storage companies to create a cold storage chain to reduce wastage, to improve processing, to improve life, and to improve the nutrition of fruits and vegetables that are produced in India. India is one of the largest producers of milk, one of the largest producers of eggs, one of the largest producers of fruit and vegetable, but almost 30 to 40% of this is wasted because we don't have good cold storage facilities. The government is offering very attractive financial incentives to create the opportunities for cold storage companies to come, invest in India, partner with India, and also use India as a base for export to third countries. We already have interest from a number of Spanish companies in the cold storage area, and we hope that they will make contacts with the with their Indian partners to set up institutions to build on the experience that they themselves have in Europe. Spanish companies, cold storage companies, have been a huge success in the European food chain. They can use that experience, the expertise, and the technology to replicate that in the very welcoming Indian market. A market that is still evolving, a market that is still beginning to grow, and we hope that Spanish companies will definitely take advantage of this.
Can you tell us, for example, some names of Spanish companies interested in this segment in your country?
Yes, there are a number of companies from Navarra who have already expressed interest. They are planning to send a team to India. We hope that Basque companies also take advantage of the same opportunities. But we've also received interest from Valencia and also from Barcelona. But I think the Basque companies already have a very good reputation, and they should make use of that reputation to get good opportunities in India.
I've been told that there is the chance to have 100% investment, foreign investment in this segment in your country now, and not some years ago, but now yes. But do you recommend going alone, or do you recommend a good Indian partner?
No, that depends on company to company. You're right. India today allows 100% foreign direct investment. So it is possible for a Basque company or a Spanish company to be present in India with 100% ownership. But if the company wants to establish a good Indian partner, that is also a very good way of moving forward. There are some major Spanish companies present in India in the renewable energy sector. For example, Siemens Gamesa, Indira, ADEF, and others. We would like more companies to come. In the food processing sector, I would suggest that it is good to have a good Indian partner. So you will know to help with the local market, the local conditions, the local regulations, the local cultural differences, because India is also a very big country. There is not one single cultural format that is there. So you would have a local partner. It already helps Spanish companies to establish themselves. For example, there are Spanish companies who sell olive oil. They sell ham. There are companies which are there in the biomass sector. They are creating new opportunities. There are some also who are in the cold chain, but we want more companies to come.
Many thanks. In which extent is your country still one doses country for food buying? I mean, people in your country is progressing. I know there is a huge increase on your middle class, but there are a lot of people that still are not middle class. So I think in the food processing sector there is also a huge opportunity, not only in cities, but also in other parts in the country. In which extent a company should think about processing food, but packaging it just for one doses?
I agree. You see, India is a very specific market. It has also, it's a huge middle class, but there are also people who are still moving up the ladder. Food processing improves efficiency, it decreases waste, it improves availability and access to food. So in a sense, by participating in the food processing sector, we are addressing the developmental needs of millions of people. So, but it's also very specific. So I think in terms of packaging, in terms of processing, it has to be dealt with the Indian market. And the Indian market is a very varied market. You have high quality goods, but also price sensitive goods. So I think both these factors should be kept in mind. But Spanish companies already have such experience in Latin America, where they produce, so they can use that same experience to do good business. But thank you very much
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.